So now let's talk about adding title block. So you can add title block if you have one using insert block option, which is available on annotation command manager. So go to annotation, go to blocks and select insert block and insert an existing title block. If however you don't have one, you can create it right from scratch using this sketch command manager. And that's what we are going to do. Now, before we do that, I want to constrain this drawing border because currently, well, as you can see, it is not fully constrained and it is well prone to changes. So I'll just select this corner right here and I'll apply fix relation, and similarly I'll apply fix relation on all 4 vertices. So I'll just select the 3 vertices here and I'll select fix and click OK. Done. So now these lines are completely fixed in place. We are ready to add the title block. So I'll go to rectangle and I'll select this border right here and I'll make a simple box approximately this big. All right, now let's start adding some lines. Now here also I'm using simple approximations. I'm not just going to eyeball it properly and I'll simply select it like so. But later I'll definitely add proper dimensions to this. So for now, well, let's just add it like this. So I'll simply type L again on keyboard to repeat the line command and L again. And here we are. And I'll just make, well, a couple of more lines here. And now I'll add a line right about here. And another one maybe extending along its direction. And a line that extends from there to this point. All right. So we've got all the lines. Now we just need to add the dimensions. But before that, maybe let's add this last line right about here. All right, now we are done. So I'll just go to dimension option and I'll add the very first dimension right here at a distance of 8.2. And then I'll add this dimension at the distance of 3.4. Now right here, this distance is 0.8. And then we have this distance, which is 0.6. Then we have this distance, that's going to be 1.6. And then we have this one, 0.5. Now we are going to space it equally at the distance of 0.4. And that's going to be 0.4 as well. But as you can see, it is over constraining it because of this dimension. So maybe we'll just delete it for now. And rather than adding it there, I'll just add the 0.4 dimension right about here. And finally, the last 0.4 dimension here. All right, there we are. We've got these 3 added. Now, finally, let's just add another dimension here at the distance of 0.5. And then this distance from this point is 1.6. All right, and this distance, quite important one, and that's the distance of 5.6. Now these are not exact distances and I'm just using it, well, for this title block. Now that we have the title block added, we still have a problem. These dimensions should not be visible in a real world situation. We just want it to constrain the different lines here, but we don't want it to, well, show up. For that, I'll simply select the dimension here and now press and hold Control and select all the other dimensions that you have in your drawing. Once you have got all of these selected, simply right click and select hide. Now this will hide dimensions from your drawing. Now they're still applied, the constraint is still applied on this title block, but it won't show up in the drawing, and that's what we want. Now another thing that we need here is line thickness. As you can see, the lines are really very thin that we need to change. Now to change the line thickness, simply right click here in the command manager, go to toolbar and select line format. Now the line format option, this toolbar will show up. Usually it shows up here on the bottom, but I'll just make it kind of like this, a floating one, and then select all of these lines. Now in this case, you can actually make a crossing window, which will, well, make the proper kind of selection. So now all of these are selected. I'm not selecting the ruler, simply all these lines here, and just go to this line thickness and change the line thickness. All right. Also, you can change the color if you want, but I'll keep the default color and I'll close it. So here we are, we've got the default thickness changed. Now we are ready to add information inside this drawing. But before we add it, let's add text. So to do that, let's go to annotation and I'll select note. Now the first thing I'm going to add here is drawing number. So let's just type drawing number and colon. Now add other text information here. So I'll go to note and here I'll add approved. All right. And then add another text right here. This is checked. And then another text, date. All right, I'm adding it randomly and then I'll add revision and I'll type here scale and here weight. All right, so there are several things added here. Now we need to, change the formatting style. Well, the first thing is we need to change how it is distributed here. So we just need to select it all using control key. So press and hold control and select these three texts, then right click and go to align and select align left. Now that's going to align towards left side. Again, go to this align option after selecting it and select space evenly down. There we are. Now they are all evenly spaced. All right. Now if you want, you can actually move it inside this and place it properly. Okay, so that's done. Now the text is still quite small. As you can see, this should not be the size of text. So I'm still going to change it. So I'll simply double click here, but here changing it for every single one of these is going to take some time. So instead I'll use a shortcut. I'll simply change the size of text to 0.2 inch just for one of these, click outside, and now I'm going to apply the same setting for all of these. And to do that, go to Format Painter, select this style and apply it on all these other texts, and simply it will apply that setting. There we are done. Now we may need to just move it slightly to the left, and we have a problem with this one. As it is overflowing the boundary, we can fix that too. So simply double click this, and now we have an option of fitting the text right here. So select fit text and move this red marker right inside this box, and this will just fit it within the available space like so. So with the same height, now it fits inside this space. All right, this weight, well, we can just move it here. And this is how you can add the static text.